Most people think that their lives will change due to a big opportunity or a big moment, like a new relationship, a new promotion, a big job, more money, perfect timing. But the older I get, the more I realize that life doesn't usually change due to a big moment, or rather, the big opportunity that we are always waiting for. It changes due to small habits that we practice or we do over time that nobody notices. And those little habits are the differences between, that brings the difference between where you are right now and where you want to be, or who you are right now and who you want to become. But first, before we get into that, hi, my name is Shelley. If you're new here, welcome to my channel. In this space, we talk about wellness, personal growth, anything in and about life, and mostly about mind shifts. So if that feels like something that would interest you, please consider joining our little community by subscribing and liking this video and also sharing it with a friend and a friend. And also, if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for always hanging out with me. Back to the topic. About these habits, there are a few habits that I've been practicing over time now, and they've completely and really changed my life. And when it comes to my work, my relationships, um, how I interact with people, how I interact with situations, and generally who I am as a person. So I thought it is wise that I could give you a few of them here and there, and let me know how it turns out for you. It is really nothing out of the ordinary, but I think it's how you put them. The first one, do the thing that you are avoiding first. You know, one thing about avoidance, it is so expensive. Expensive in the aspect that it carries or takes away so much of our time in terms of it is always in your mind. The thing that you are supposed to do or you want to do it, be it that email that you're avoiding, be it that conversation that you're avoiding to have, be it that assignment that you need to do, it takes so much of your time and it's expensive in the matter of the mental weight that it comes with. When you're doing your other task, it is always at the back of your mind and it keeps lingering around until you get to do it. And when you finally actually get to do it, it takes you even less, probably less than 10 minutes. But you spend probably 3 business days thinking about it. So to save yourself all the energy, time, and investment that you have to make on something that probably doesn't need to be invested that much, just do it. Get it done. I think that is a policy that I have or I have learned. Avoidance is so expensive, and the emotional weight that it comes with, it is something that I'm not ready to associate myself with. So I try as much as I can to do the thing that is bothering me or something that matters or something that needs to be done just so that it gets off my plate. Yeah? Another habit that has changed how I feel about stuff is preparation. Be the most prepared person in the room. When it comes to going to that interview, when it comes to that meeting that you're going to, when it comes to that research content that you're doing for your YouTube channel, research as much as possible. Let's say, for example, you're going for that meeting. In times that I found myself going for a meeting or something and I've researched enough and I know what is being spoken, I find that I contribute very much more or I am very much present in the meeting because first I can understand, second I know what I'm saying and I'm very confident in what I say because first confidence is built in preparation, and the most of the smart people you see out here, it's not because they just woke up and they were smart. They prepared, they researched, so I feel like most opportunities find the people who are ready for them and ready for them in terms of how they are prepared, how well they know the opportunity and stuff, rather than the brave and whatever people, so prepare and be very prepared about every topic that you or anything. Be curious about stuff, research about stuff. If you've been assigned any assignment, prepare it adequately. Let's say, for example, you're going for that interview. Research about the organization, research how people, all the culture of that place is, so that even when you're getting into the meeting or in the interview, even when your papers are not that shouting, your own confidence is built by how prepared you are in that meeting. The question they ask, how you respond, and how you respond and whatever you say is usually determined by the preparation that you've made or how prepared you are. Preparation is, I feel like preparation is a form of self-respect because it tells yourself, it's more like telling yourself this matters enough for me to show up fully, like to fully prepare for it and be there present, fully present in the moment. You get it? Encourage you to do a lot is follow up when everyone else drops. When it comes to that conversation, when it comes to that, after the networking event and the reconnecting, where people don't reconnect after a networking event, the email after an interview where you never follow up and see what happened. It is always good to check in. Always, the opportunity that you're waiting for could be a minute away, could be an email away, could be a conversation away, could be a check-in message away. So always follow up when it comes to a request you made to your, let's say, for example, it's work, a request you made to your bosses. Always follow up. You never know, probably you told them and they forgot, and the moment you decide to finally ask them or just do a simple follow-up. Hi, this is Shelley. I was just checking up on X and X. How did it go? Or did you get time to review it? And probably someone did get time to review it, and because you reminded them, then they get a chance to review it, and probably it's a good idea and they go with it. And because that is one habit I adopted when it came to my workplace. I realized most of the things that I could suggest, sometimes, not most of them, but sometimes some could slip through. And it only needed that one reminder to get it done. And they're like, oh, oops, let me get it done for you. And probably if I didn't follow up, what could have ended? Either that wouldn't have been done, or I could have assumed that was a no when it was not a no. So we are so used to getting the response no and thinking no, because for the longest time I always thought a no is a no, which usually sometimes that is the case. But sometimes that is not usually the case. So when you can, or when situations allow, or when you can read the room and understand that it says that you can follow up, please send that follow-up email, send that follow-up message. Apply for those jobs and check up again and follow up an email to them to ask how it went, or even feedback. Even if you don't get the opportunity, it gives you feedback to know what to do best in the next or the other chance if it ever presents itself. Another habit that has worked for me is give credit where due. The people you work with, the people you associate with, anything nice you notice, give people credit. Have you ever seen how you're passing by or you're doing something, then someone comments? Let's say, for example, you're dressed and wherever you're walking around, and then someone comments on your dress or on how you look or your hair. It just gives you some kind of confidence and whatever. And you find yourself feeling very happy about that person or that situation or that place. It just gives you a certain, or it's like a mood boost for that place. And let's say, for example, you work, let me put it in a way that it is not even just the body, but let's say, for example, you're working with someone, right? And let's say, for example, you're working with someone, right? And they probably give you an assignment to do, and you finish submitting your work, and you do an amazingly incredible job. And then at the end of the job, they tell you, Shirley, this was great. I loved your work. I loved how you presented this and this. Or rather, I love how when you're issued an assignment, you do this, and this, and this. In your next assignment, you'll find yourself doing so much better, or even very excited to do the assignment, because you know the other person will take it very well. And I found this credit giving thing to be so useful when it comes to even dealing with a team, dealing with people, even when delegating tasks. And genuinely, someone has done a great job, give them their flowers. Give them their flowers when you can. And I'm not only saying this at work, I'm even saying when it comes to your friends. Let your friends know how you feel about them. If it is positive, they usually look nice. How they communicate in a clearer, good way. Give them the credit. Or if how they treat people, or how they are intentional when it comes to the friendship, let them know that you do appreciate, and you notice how they do it. I can tell you for sure it is something that is good when it comes to relationships, work, teams. It is something that has changed so much when it comes to my aspects of different things. And people get to know that I do appreciate what they do or how they do it. I'm not just taking it for granted. The other thing is build relationships before you need them. I'm going to tell you a story. Back last year, if you've been in this channel, I said I lost my brother, and I am so grateful for the support system that I did have, and by that I'm saying my friends or my circle of friends. And by the time that was happening, we really had a very solid tight kind of bond with my friends. But I'm trying to imagine when that happened if I didn't have them then. Probably they would have showed up, but I can imagine how difficult it would have been for them to relate with my problem, or how difficult it would have been for me to just try being present in my grief and also present with my friends, or even trying to make them feel home, or even communicate with them what I'm feeling, or even them aligning with how I feel. Because by that time, I think one of the things that made my journey easier then, it is how well understood I was by them. And because this is a relationship or a bond that we have grown over quite a while, and these friends who really know me, so they just don't know the way that you're going for a grief moment with someone, and you're just there telling them, oh, I'm really sorry, I know how you feel. For sure, when it comes to grief, you don't know how someone feels. So I feel for me, they sat with my grief and they let me be me, and they let us hurt in the most possible way that we could, and just being present. I think what they offered 99% was their presence, and that really mattered more than anything else. I found people who consoled me in every other way, but their presence felt the world to me. And back to the topic, build relationships as early as possible, and that is good. Don't try to be in a rush when building relationships, because, or don't wait until you need those friendships and relationships to start building them, because someone can always sense when you're contacting them from a point of favor, or requesting for a favor, or need their help, which I'm not trying to say they won't come or show up for you or come through for you, but I feel like that is a very bad point to. Before I was interrupted, I was saying about building the relationship. So I say, it's not like they will not come through for you, but I feel like it is not a good way to start, or it's someone can always sense when you're asking or you're trying to connect from a point of asking for a favor, or when the friendship feels pressurized. So try to build relationships before you do need them, so that when you do need them, they actually show up for you as they need to. Okay. Another bit I would say is know your one important move for the day. And this is for everyone. Let's say, for example, I'll say, for example, have you ever been in a position where you feel by the end of the day you are very tired, and you feel like your day has been so busy in the aspect that you've been doing so much things, you've ticked so many things out of your to-do list, but then it just also feels like you've not done something, or rather, what mattered most, you didn't end up doing it. That's why identifying your most meaningful move of the day, it is such an important thing, so that when you're going about your day, when you're going about your task or whatever you have planned for the day, you know, what are you working towards? What is your goal? What is it, that one thing that if you didn't do anything else today, if you only did that one or two or three things, your day would feel complete. Because there is a difference. I want you guys to know that there is a difference between being busy and being productive. You can be very busy and also have done nothing, so always plan your day, plan your actions, plan your most important stuff of the day before first start. What I tend to do is, let's say, for example, for me, there are these habits that I have come up with every day. When I'm going to work, I know I have to listen to a podcast. It is not a must, but I have to listen to something that educates me, something that, let's say, for example, my trait that I'm trying to build lately is confidence or eloquency. I will look for a podcast that is around 20 to 15 minutes around there, that I can listen from the house to work, so that I can use that time to listen to a podcast. So once I've settled in at work and I'm done with my podcast, since that's like the must do, I'll think of something like, what does success look like for me today? And I will define like three most like important things that I'll do when it comes to work, when it comes to if there's something I was doing for myself, also that I need to do for myself, and maybe something else that is related to also myself or work, or just generally my relationships. Because you'll find, for example, I have this one rule where, like, on Wednesdays, I'll like somehow check on my friends who I haven't checked on for a while. So if the day comes to an end and I haven't done that, it feels like I have terribly failed when it comes to that day. I have certain tasks that I have to do a certain day, and if I don't get that done, it feels like I haven't done that well, or that is not like a successful day for me. So I find ways to compensate for that. That's what I would say. Find one important move for the day and work towards achieving it. Work towards making sure that even if everything else doesn't go down, doesn't get done, that is done. At least by then you can call your day successful, or you don't end up your day feeling like I did so much, but also feeling like you didn't do that much, right? Another habit that I would say helps is sit more, learn to sit with discomfort longer than people would. And that means discomfort in the different areas of your life. When your job is growing, when you're growing, when your life is growing, when you're experiencing different a different or change in your life, there is that stretch. And often stretches come with discomfort. And if you're not willing to sit with that discomfort for quite a while and really understand and feel what this discomfort means, then you might end up letting go of an opportunity, giving up too early, because most people, at the slightest feel of discomfort, everyone walks away. At the also, I feel like also most people, or and I'm not trying to exclude myself from this, most people are very resistant to change and how the whole dynamics of change and discomfort. But every new growth, and for that matter good one, there must be a stretch, and that stretch must come with discomfort. So be willing to stay or to sit in the discomfort for quite a while than most people are willing to. Another habit that I have learned or that has helped is let your reputation do the work. How you handle stuff. Let me tell you, whether like it or not, people are watching you. How you do your stuff, how you handle things, how you submit your stuff, how you show up. Do you submit on time? Do you submit your stuff on time? Do you do quality work? Are you the person who people have to keep pushing when it comes to doing their duties, or when you're delegated a duty? How do you end up doing it? So I feel like people always watching. Make sure that the idea or the photo they get of you, it is something that it's good, or it could even speak. You leave your name in a way that it could speak for you, even when you're not in that room. Let people have a good image of who you are, how you do your work, how you show up, how quality your work is. It helps a lot. Another thing that I'll say, the last one, and the last important habit that is nice or has really completely changed my life, is invest in people early. When it comes to mentors, co-workers, everything, invest in people early. Let's say, for example, when you go for a networking event, and that's what I said, build the checkup thingy, the checkup where you send an email or a follow-up. When it comes to investing in people, your networks, start building your networks brick by brick. When you go to an event and meet people who align with your interest, start as early as then. Don't wait until you are in the need for a certain network, and that's when you're actively like trying to look for it. And that resonates with the same points here. Build relationships as soon as possible, or when you can. Don't wait until you need them for you to build them. That is the same thing. Invest in people early. Invest in people so early in terms of your networks, your environment, your friends. Show up. Put so much effort so that when the time comes for you to need such relationships, you're not starting afresh. Anyway, guys, I think that is it. Those are some of the main habits that I was talking about. And they are not out of the ordinary things that people do. They are not out of the ordinary things that you have not heard of. These are the habits that everyone talks about day by day. Anyway, with that said, that is it for today's video. Let me know if these are things that resonate with you, and what are you struggling with at most at the moment when it comes to that, to either those habits, or you can as well plug us with the habits that you practice and you feel like they have completely changed your life. But anyway, guys, that is for today. I'll see you in the next upload. And if you liked this video, please remember subscribing and telling a friend to tell a friend. Bye.